You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and I'm back with another recap of 49ers training camp, this time day 9. Let's get right into it. Today, we didn't have Nick Bosa once again. It seems like overall, the last few days have been a slower week for him. I mean, just getting him some rest, and totally okay with that because honestly, it's given the offense an opportunity to actually get some work together and look like a operating offense. Like Nick Bosa was a little too disruptive in that it was kind of counterproductive to the offense. So I am not complaining that he's taking some more rest. And as we know, it's Nick Bosa. He doesn't need to be participating in every training camp practice. That he'll be fine. We're not worried about it. What's going on, Eric? Thanks for joining. Look, guys, let's try to get a record on this video. Let's reach for 15, 20 likes on this video. Let's see if we can get that. So go ahead, like this video. And if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe as well. All right. So no Nick Bosa. As you guys know, Jalen Moore and Eric Armstead are going to be out for a few weeks. So, of course, they're not participating as well. And in fact, because Jalen Moore is going to be out for a few weeks, the 49ers signed offensive tackle Jordan Mills. And as I mentioned yesterday, Willie Snead was also signed yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, that's a bit of news. Javon Kinlaw was back today after not practicing yesterday, although it did seem like a lighter day for Kinlaw as well. I think he participated in the first half of 11 on 11s, but it didn't look like he was out there in the second half. So during the red zone period that we heard about, Javon Kinlaw was not out there either. So again, offense getting an opportunity to actually operate without the overbearing pressure that, Bosa and Javon Kinlaw bring, and Armstead, honestly. So Marcus Johnson, he's still out there in a blue no-contact jersey. You guys know the hit that Fred Warner laid out on him put him in the concussion protocol, so he is still in that. And Hufanga was not the first one out on the field, which that's something I don't really report, the fact that he's the first one on the field, or he has been all these other practices. It seemed a little odd, though, that he wasn't the first one today, just given the fact that he's been so consistent this whole time. And honestly, I thought he wasn't going to practice because I didn't see him out there for quite a while. So it did also seem like a lighter day for Talanoa Hufanga. So maybe that was a plan for him to have a lighter day. He wasn't in on the gimme drills. And as I'm about to mention, so the practice starts with both the offense and defense. They each work on their formations, and the defense works on their assignment drills as well. They basically just simulate like a snap and where they would go after the snap and things like that. So what I thought was interesting was Tarvarius Moore was with the ones opposite Jimmy Ward for that start of practice while they were going over the formations and assignments. Talanoa Hufanga was there, but he was just taking mental reps. So I don't know. Is this the beginning of a competition? I don't know. I had been very adamant that I felt that Talanoa Hufanga, the spot had been pretty much locked up by him. But really because it felt like the team was giving us that sense as well. And so now it kind of feels like there's a bit of a shift where they want to get a look at Tarvarius Moore. And Moore has been playing well in practice. So it makes sense that they want to get a better look at him. And I still feel that Hufunga will be the starter. So he'll start on defense, but I think they're really going to work both of those guys in to the defense. Maybe they do 3 safety sets. Maybe they even, swap Hufunga and Tarvarius Moore out depending on, the play, the coverage, and things like that. So I don't know. Maybe they're experimenting with some things there, but it does seem like Tarvarius Moore is going to be. They're getting a good look at him. And so I don't know. Is it a competition? Who's to say? But I will say that even it being a lighter day for Talanoa Hufanga, it didn't seem like his best day. I've been hyping him up. When he had good days, I totally was on board and telling you guys about it. But I'm also going to tell you that today was probably not his best day. And I don't know if that's just, maybe he can feel Tarvarius Moore breathing down his neck. He's feeling the heat a little bit. I don't know, but that could be part of it. Who knows? But anyway, I'll tell you a little bit why I thought it wasn't his best day, because we'll get into, some of the one-on-ones discussion and all of that. So yeah, let's get into the one-on-ones talk really quick. One of my favorite periods of camp and the practices, because it's just so much fun to watch. And so I take a lot of notes, right? And I want to remind you guys that there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on at the same time. There's 3 different one-on-one competitions happening. There's the wide receivers going against the cornerbacks, which typically happens in the far field. So it's a little harder to see. And then typically right in front of us, what we'll see is the running backs and the tight ends going against the safeties and linebackers. And then on the far end of the closer field is the offensive line and defensive line. So a bit at an angle, like kind of harder to see because you got to turn your body. Anyway, there's a lot going on. There's no way that we can get all of the one-on-one snaps or, see all of them at the same time. So just want to point that out, but I always try to see as much as I can. My eyes are moving. Like as soon as one rep ends, I'm looking at the other side. So just want to point that out. So I don't have everything, but I got quite a lot today. So here we go. The first one that I'm going to talk about. So the goal is to beat your guy in coverage on this one-on-one. Like I said, the wide receivers on corners, the running backs on linebackers, and the tight ends on safeties. So Kittle beat Jimmy Ward, and he also beat Hufunga in one-on-ones. But Leon O'Neal actually had a nice little pass breakup against George Kittle, which, hey, I've been talking about Leon O'Neal and how he just has looked outmatched, which has been true. But today, I don't know. Maybe this practice was a momentum shift for him, and maybe he could get some things going, because I saw not just the one-on-ones, but I thought he had some other flashes in practice today. So maybe he can start stacking another day. If he has a good day tomorrow as well, maybe this is the start of a trend for Leon O'Neal. I don't know, but he has a lot to work on, and he's going to need to have a lot of good days, because as of now, I felt like the clock was kind of ticking for him. So he needs a lot of good days. before, preseason and all of that. So it was good to see O'Neal beat Kittle on that one-on-one rep with the pass breakup. I thought that was nice. Nice touch. Jimmy Ward, he won his rep against Ray McLeod. Fred Warner beat Elijah Mitchell, but he did not get the best of Elijah Mitchell. Elijah actually beat Fred on the second go. So good for Mitchell, who has been looking really good, by the way, these last couple practices. Jeff Wilson Jr. beat Greenlaw twice, okay, during one-on-ones. You love to see that. Jeff Wilson Jr. looks good. He looks healthy, and he looks ready to go. Tarvarius Moore beat Troy Fumagalli, tight end. Beat him pretty badly, actually. So Fumagalli, not a good rep from him during one-on-ones. TDP beat McCrary Ball, linebacker. Jermichael Hasty beat Aziz. Beat him pretty handily, but Hasty just flat out dropped it. So, I mean, good and bad there for Jermichael Hasty. Now, let me talk about some of the wide receivers on the corners. Again, I didn't get as much of this because it was on the far field, but I got a few. So here we go. Danny Gray beat Charvarius Ward, which I thought was, pretty impressive. Not a lot of people have been, beating Charvarius Ward. Good to see the rookie doing that. And Danny Gray also beat out Kadar Holman, but he dropped it. Danny Gray did. So kind of like Hasty. You take the good with the bad. But at least he can beat guys. I mean, that's good. Austin Mack beat out... I couldn't tell if it was Quantrez Knight or Taylor Hawkins. Could have been either one of those guys. But point is, Austin Mack won that rep. Brandon Ayuk beat, I think it was Samuel Womack. Again, far into the field. It's hard to see the numbers sometimes. But the point is, Brandon Ayuk continues to win one-on-one matchups. It's second nature to him at this point. And Ambry Thomas won a rep on a pass breakup. I didn't see who the receiver was, but good to see from Ambry. We want to see more of it because, as I was mentioning, as I've been saying about Ambry Thomas, he's been one of the, you know how they say lone bright spot? He's been the lone not bright spot in this, defensive back group. Ambry Thomas has been. So, when he makes a nice play, I jot it down, and I hope that he can continue on that path. So, if you got a pass breakup, good. If it was on one-on-ones, that's fine. And again, I didn't see who the receiver was, so we got to take into account like the talent level there. But I mean, hey, a pass breakup is a pass breakup. All right. And so, okay, next, the pass protection versus pass rush offensive line going against the defensive line in one-on-ones. I only saw a couple of these, so, bear with me here. I saw Donovan West. He won a rep versus Atkins. And then I did see Atkins beat Aaron Banks. Let's see. There's a couple of other guys who, I didn't see who they were going up against, but I did see that they had some good reps. Kimoko Toure, Jake Brendel, McKivitz, Alex Barrett, Nick Zakelj. From what I saw, Nick Zakelj won 2 of his reps. And then Jason Poe, nice surprise. I've mentioned the fact that Jason Poe is tiny. He is tiny. And I'm going to try to take a picture as close as I can get to Jason Poe when he's next to the other guys on the offensive line, because that's when you can really see how small he is compared to everyone else. But Jason Poe today, actually, I thought he did a great job. He beat I could not see the number. It looked like 55, but then I don't even think there's a 55 on the team, so I don't know who it was. But Jason Poe had a really good rep that I saw where he, for being as small as he is, he held his own really well, especially considering the fact that some of the other guys on the offensive line had some trouble with some of the same guys, right? So I think it's good to see Jason Poe put together some nice reps there during one-on-ones. He could definitely handle his own. Just in school, not the greatest day for one-on-ones for him. He got beat a few times. One of them by Kimoko Toure, who he's looked really good. Definitely an underrated part of this defensive line so far. And so that's one-on-ones. Next, gimme drill, the one I've been talking about. Kyle Shanahan throwing to the defense, pretty much trying to get them to make a play, trying to get them to make an interception, pass breakup. Sometimes he even throws it right at them on purpose. You can kind of tell, just to make sure these guys are, awake, make sure they catch it. And I also feel like it's a bit of an effort to just get these guys used to catching the ball and also get them comfortable. And I don't know, when you get the groove of something and you make a play, it's easier to keep that momentum going. So one player that I've noticed they've been trying to really involve in this gimme drill and really trying to get him to they're pretty much kind of assisting him in these trying to make a play on these is Leon O'Neal, which, as I mentioned earlier, he had a good rep against George Kittle during one-on-ones. But again, there seems to be an effort on for at least Kyle Shanahan to have O'Neal make some plays because he hasn't been making a lot of plays, or he hadn't been up to this point. So there's an effort to get O'Neal going. And I mean, I thought today he responded well, and he did what he was supposed to. So you love to see that, and hopefully he can keep it up. So we'll see if he can do that. All right, now let me talk about Trey Lance really quick, because Trey Lance, there were some up and downs today, as there has been in much of these practices for Trey Lance, okay? But I just want to mention the fact that he ended the day on a really good note. And I'll actually start there because I just want to get you guys excited. So the last portion of practice was a situational drill for 11 on 11s. Move the ball in a situational drill. So it was hurry up. They were down 4, so they had the scoreboard going and everything. So it was 20-24. And they were down 4 with a minute and 15 left. That's what they were simulating. And so both Sudfeld and Trey Lance had a shot at scoring a touchdown. They weren't going to win with a field goal, so they had to score a touchdown in that amount of time. Sudfeld failed. I mean, he did move the ball, but he didn't get to the touchdown point. Trey Lance, as was mentioned, he had the touchdown to Ray McLeod to end the day, and he looked so sharp during this hurry up situational period. It was like a stark difference from what we saw during the earlier 11 on 11. I don't know what happened, but it was like a flip. It a switch flipped for Trey Lance in that moment, and I don't know, he was just locked in. So if it makes you guys feel any better, so let me go over the plays really quick that got to that McLeod touchdown. So Lance targeted Kittle towards the left sideline, first down right off the bat. Then it was Trey Lance to Hasty. Hasty dropped it. It was a little high, but I'm one of those people that's like, okay, if your hands are on it, you better make that catch. So that was one that I would put on Hasty more so than Trey Lance. So the third play of that drive was a Lance scramble for nice little gain. And then Trey Lance to Debo. That one went for a first down. Play after that was another Lance scramble for, decent gain. And then Trey Lance to Kittle. That got a first down. He's already targeted Kittle twice. And then the play after that one was another catch by Kittle from Lance on the right side of the field. So 3 catches by Kittle on that drive. And then, of course, ending it with the touchdown, Trey Lance to Ray McLeod. So, again, it happened. It was go, 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 because obviously it's a hurry up situational, simulation, but also Trey Lance just executed everything very well, I thought. And he looked really sharp. And I also thought it was great to see him targeting Kittle so many times on this drive, because not that, they don't have a connection, Kittle and Lance, but I feel like Trey Lance doesn't throw to George Kittle enough, given the fact that it's George Kittle. It's like, I guess I'm used to Jimmy Garoppolo, like always looking for Kittle, but for Lance, it's been Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk has been that go-to, but today it was the Kittle show during that, move the ball period. So it was nice to see them connecting and making plays, because I think Trey Lance is going to find rather quickly that George Kittle is someone you can really depend on, to move the sticks when you need it bad. So it was really good to see. And like I said, there was a lot of up and downs for Trey Lance until that point. And then when that happened, he just looked phenomenal. I was like, okay, let's go. I'm ready for week 1. Like, I'm ready to see Trey Lance week 1, because 11 on 11s have been shaky for him. Like I said, up and down. So it hasn't been all bad, okay? Shaky makes it sound bad. But, he's not going to be perfect. He's not perfect. But he was pretty close to perfect on the, hurry up period. So let me go through the other 11 on 11s. Okay, this is what happened before the hurry up offense portion. So Trey Lance, 11 on 11. This is how it started. Nice little run by Elijah Mitchell. Again, Elijah Mitchell has been looking good these last few days, so that has continued. And then it looked like Lance called an audible at the line. Also good to see. I mean, nice little development there. And then Trey Lance hit Ayuk along the sideline. And then there was a run up the middle by Elijah Mitchell. I might have missed a play on that one, because usually they do 4 plays and then switch to Sudfeld. So I think I missed a play on that one. Okay, then there was the second 11 on 11 turn that he had. Elijah Mitchell, another nice run. Good gain by Mitchell. And then Trey Lance to Juwan Jennings, in the middle of the field. And Juwan Jennings got some extra yak on it. So Jennings looks better. If you guys remember a video from like couple days ago, couple practices ago, I might have said that Juwan Jennings, had kind of tapered off a little bit, but he looked fine today, by the way. So just wanted to point that out. All right. And then there was a Lance toss to Elijah Mitchell. And then there was Trey Lance targeting George Kittle, but there was a pass breakup by the defense. So flying close to the sun a little bit. Good play by the defense. I didn't see who got their hands on it, but I just know it was a pass breakup. And then the next play after that was Trey Lance overthrowing George Kittle deep right side of the field. So that sequence was not good, those last 3 plays for Trey Lance. So again, this is what I'm talking about. Up and down. He'll look good on one sequence, one of the 4 plays, and then they switch. And then he'll come back and, he'll put together like a number of good plays, and then, he might look bad again. And then that's kind of just how it's been for him. So let's look at the next sequence for Trey Lance. He had a near pick by the defense, or he threw a near pick. I think it might have been Warner who could have had his hands on that. Like, I think he might have dropped it. It might have been Warner. But yeah, near pick by Lance. And then the play after that was a Lance move up in the pocket, and then he ended up scrambling. So, not bad. The one thing I've been saying that I appreciate with Trey Lance is that, one, he keeps his eyes upfield even when he is scrambling. And that's a really nice thing for him to do, because not only does it mean that, if a play does open up, he can, make the adjustment and make that throw, but also it gets the defenders in a position where, if he's still looking upfield, you as a defender know that there's a chance that he could still throw the ball. So you're not just going to beeline it to the, to the quarterback, because you might have to drop back if he ends up throwing it, over your head. So just that one small bit that keeps the defense or the defensive guy somewhat at bay, like keeping his eyes upfield, is a really good and minor, thing that Trey Lance does already, which a lot of guys have to have that taught to them, right? But Trey Lance already does it. I love that about him. All right, so let's see here. So we had the move up and scramble was the last one, and then after that, Trey Lance overthrew Deebo Samuel. It was a little bit too far ahead of Deebo. So again, those 3 plays were one sequence: the near pick, the scramble, which is not bad, but then the overthrow. So that's 2 sequences by Trey Lance that were not good. And then there was a break on 11 on 11. So that was in the first portion. And during the break, in between the 2 11 on 11 sessions, I just wanted to point this out because I thought this was interesting. He was practicing. So there was quarterback and wide receiver drills that they worked on. And so they were practicing on handoffs to Deebo Samuel, which is not surprising. I mean, Deebo gets handoffs. But then they're also practicing the fake handoff to Deebo Samuel, and then tossing it to Kittle on a shovel pass, towards the line. And I mentioned this a couple days ago because they tried this during practice, during the 11 on 11s, and it didn't work. But Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce do this all the time in the red zone. If you've ever watched a Chiefs game, I guarantee you have seen them do this. And I love that the 49ers are trying this out and trying to make this work, because I would love to see that in a game. And if they can perfect it like the Chiefs have with Kelce, then it's going to be a game changer in the red zone. So they were working on that in between 11 on 11 periods. And then they were working on some red zone work with Kittle. Trey Lance and Kittle were working on some red zone stuff. So I love that as well. Seems to be an emphasis on George Kittle getting the ball in the red zone, and we love that. All right, so second 11 on 11 period. All right, it's a new day. So Trey Lance started off that with a would-be sack on Kerry Hyder. So obviously that would have been for loss. And again, the second 11 on 11 period was move the ball. So the offense lost some yardage on that one. Not off to a great start. Then there was a Lance designed run, and that one got a pretty good gain on it. So I'm pretty sure he got back whatever he had lost on the would have been sack by Hyder, and kind of made up for it a bit. So there was still some hope that the offense could get something done, except on the very next play, Lance incomplete to Deebo Samuel. Good coverage by Emmanuel Mosley on that one. So again, that's now like 3 straight Trey Lance sequences of 11 on 11 that didn't really, they were kind of bad. So, all right. Next one was, what's going on, Vivian? Seeing a few of you join. Welcome, welcome. If you guys have not yet, go ahead, like this video. We're trying to get it to 15 likes today if we can. Let's try to get that record. Anywhere between 15 and 20 likes, we like that. All right. So the next 11 on 11 period for Trey Lance was a TDP run. And I'm trying to read my notes. Oh, I put that TDP was with the starters. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty notable that TDP was getting some run with the first team offense with Trey Lance. I thought that was nice. It seems like he's looking good. He started camp really quiet, and these last few days have been really good for TDP. I would say like the last 2-3 practices, he's stacking his days. So definitely great to see. What's going on, Dawson? Yeah, man, your man TDP is catching on, I think. So let's keep talking about this sequence from the first team offense, 11 on 11. So TDP run, and then the second play was another TDP, and that was a nice little run by him as well. And then the third play on that was Trey Lance to Deebo Samuel downfield for a first down. I think Tarvarius Moore was on coverage on that one. Might have been like a zone thing. It was handed off to Moore. So that one was a first down. Then there was a would-be sack on Ebukam. And then Lance threw to McDonald, bit short of the sticks. And then after that, yeah, it was short of the sticks. So I think they just ended that one there. Let's see. So, I mean, there's some good with the bad. There was a lot of bad, but there are some, flashes of good. All right, let's go. So here's the next Trey Lance sequence. Near pick by Jimmy Ward. There was a run by a running back. I did not see who the running back was on that one. Sorry. And then the third play was Trey Lance to Jimmy Ward, pick 6. At least I thought it would have been a pick 6, but it was definitely an interception by Trey Lance along the right side. It seemed like he just didn't see him. And Jimmy Ward was all over it. He jumped that because I think Trey Lance was targeting the running back check down, and Jimmy Ward was just all over it. So that was an interception. And so the up and down went really down at that point, and then things seemed to improve for Trey Lance after that. So that's when the hurry up offense situational period came into play. where Jimmy Garoppolo, where Trey Lance got the touchdown to Ray McLeod and executed and moved the ball downfield quickly and with really no resistance. Like Trey Lance was moving, he was leading. He for how much was said about how good Jimmy Garoppolo was at like game-winning drives and like those situational hurry up offense things. I thought Trey Lance and this offense looked just as good on that last portion. And that's pretty much how Trey Lance ended the practice, on a very high note. And I love that. You love to see the growth because he had just thrown an interception, and even before that, the practice or the 11-on-11 session for Trey Lance was up and down. And I thought that Nate Sudfeld before that had really kind of outperformed him in the sense that, Nate Sudfeld looks very comfortable with the second team unit, very comfortable. He's in command with the second team. He knows what he's doing, where everyone is. Not that Trey Lance doesn't with the first team, but you can just, there's a sense of, you can tell that Nate Sudfeld is very comfortable, running with and leading the second team. And so I wasn't sure that Trey Lance looked as comfortable running with the first team in, the first half of 11-on-11s. But again, when it came down to it in that hurry up period where Trey Lance needed to get that touchdown, boy, did he turn it around. So these are the things you want to see. It's like small improvements. And as I've been saying, Trey Lance is not going to be perfect right away. He is going to make mistakes. He's made a lot of mistakes in practice. But the one thing that we can always go back to is the fact that what he does after mistakes, is he able to brush it off? Does he get down and, does it cause him to make even more mistakes? I think he has a good response to mistakes, and you can tell that he is learning a lot as we go through these training camps. And I think even, when we get to these preseason games, you're going to see a lot of growth as well. I'm very interested to see how much playing time Trey Lance gets in these preseason games. I wouldn't be mad if they kept him in for the whole first half, but I'd settle for the first quarter as well because he needs those reps, especially against a defense besides the 49ers defense, I would say. So Trey Lance altogether was 11-20 in 11-on-11s. Like I said, there were a couple of near interceptions and then the one interception to Jimmy Ward, but he closed the day on a very good note, and a very good drive that we saw from him. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with the day that Trey Lance had and the offense had. And tomorrow's another day. We'll see what this team looks like tomorrow. I would expect that Nick Bosa may be back, but who knows? So we'll see. Let me get to some of these questions really quick, or comments you guys have. Vivian says TDP more impressive. He has speed, but he needs run to end zone and Willie Snead catches on end zone. Yeah, Vivian, you're a big Willie Snead fan. I'm getting that sense. You love some Willie Snead. You also said, any news on Snead? Did you see him at training camp? I didn't notice him at training camp today, so not sure if. Also, don't know what number he was wearing, so no, I didn't see him. He might have been out there. I didn't see him out there. So that's Willie Snead. That's the only Willie Snead news I got. Sorry, I'll look out for him tomorrow. So tomorrow is a new day of practice. It is actually going to be kind of special because it is the Dwight Clark day on at camp. So you would think they might do something special for that. But yeah, keep it locked on this channel. You guys subscribe if you guys have not already, and I'm gonna have another update for day 10 of training camp tomorrow. So make sure that you guys tune in and make sure you like this video. I don't know how many likes we have right now, but I hope we got close to the 15 likes. All right. But have a good rest of your night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.